Good day. Last time I talked about the elections in Sweden, and I thought I'd give you a bit of an update on what's going on. Well, except for the consulting firm that all politicians seem to use, probably got a bit richer. More police and more teachers will end segregation. You know, I can really understand people who don't want to become police officers or teachers if the responsibility of the segregation in the country is dumped on your shoulders. And Sweden is one of the most segregated countries in Europe. And Swedish police is, well, there was a police officer in the morning TV show calling Rinkeby Kabul. He was referring to shootings between gang members that have been occurring for the past years. This police officer had obviously never been to Afghanistan and simply wanted to sound heroic and important. But you know, with this logic, one could state that calling Rinkeby Kabul, because there are also shootings in Kabul, equals calling somebody who is incompetent Swedish police. Our company needs to hire serious and good people. We don't want no Swedish police here. So this is Rinkeby. As you can see, it looks so much like Kabul. But what am I doing here? I'm actually hanging up posters for an upcoming event called Hotat Hem, or Threatened Home. It's going to be at the Multicultural Center in Fittja, where some of my documentary work is going to be shown on October 7th. That's pretty cool. But moving on, autumn is here and the woods are surprisingly empty of mushrooms. This forest is located in the middle of Stockholm. Well, it's not really the middle of Stockholm, is it? But close enough. It's not a real forest. I mean, people BMX here and people totally pick this place completely clean of blueberries. But that's a good thing. At least you know that they're being eaten. Seriously? And what else is going on? Oh yeah, electricity prices. They're soaring if you have no control or knowledge about your own spending. But if you do, you're gonna be fine. This is a vote for a person who can neither swim nor sail. So I know somebody who used to work with a former minister's wife at a school in Helsinki. She was of the opinion that we need to make more space for parking in the center of town because she liked to drive from her rich people's area into town to walk her dogs because it was nicer there. You know what? Fuck keeping it anonymous. She's the wife of this former minister. A minister who earned his pension money, his pension billions, by lobbying for Nord Stream 2. Ergo, blood money. Russian blood money. I'm sure he was voting for cheaper petrol prices. Politicians naturally want to talk about this as if it's the end of the world. Oh, we have to save energy. We have to think about what we're using and doing. We can't just spend like we're Saudi Arabian princes anymore. I think it's kind of comforting to think about what I do because it makes me feel like I have more control in my life. That was actually quite difficult. Mostly this affects rich people in the city areas that live in houses and drive with cars, although they don't have to. But it also, of course, affects people that are living in the countryside. That is really weird. What else is new apart from the 200,000 Russian men, refugees running away from a cruel dictatorship? There are a lot of them crossing over to Finland, to Kazakhstan of course, and to Georgia. They've received over 100,000 in the last few days. Finland sadly closed the borders for tourist visas, and I think that's a black spot. We all need to contribute to peace. Pointing fingers at some symbolic figures and things, it's for imbeciles. So once upon a time, a very smart Somalian guy who lives in these areas that the police so eloquently calls Kabul, he said what he tries to teach the young people there is: du som är utsatt, du behöver bli insatt så att de tillsatta kan bli avsatta. This means you who are exposed to segregation here, you need to get acquainted with the politician and the society so that those people who are put into positions can be taken off those positions and no longer be in power. It simply means get acquainted with your territory and learn how to navigate in it. This is a railway that is located in the middle of Stockholm and it's abandoned, which is awesome because somebody had the bright idea to start to get together and make this into a sort of a little garden where they grow things, which is cool. Which obviously you cannot do by yourself, you have to get together and do it together. And that's something that's kind of difficult to understand in this individualistic world where we're supposed to think that we are all alone, everybody's out to get us, and we should believe in conspiracy theories and not trust each other or have heavy opinions about things you know nothing about. Yeah, it's like it's the only thing that we feel like we have a control over if we really don't trust our society at all. And I hate good societies going to waste like that. We can do so much better, but we have to pull together. Where and how do I fit into this equation? What's my responsibility? And then you can ask yourself, so what can I do about it? And also today is the day of the cinnamon bun, the kanelbulle. Very Swedish thing to eat. A bun, sweet. It has its own day. This is just a cheap one I bought from a supermarket, but you can get really expensive and fancy ones at cafeterias if you want. Or if you want really shit ones, you can make them yourself. And I'm finally on my way to Fitja to show my documentaries. This is super cool! Ah, crazy. Shively.